Hey everyone, welcome back to the Armory. Today we're taking a close look at one of the hottest concealed carry options out there, the Glock 43X with the MOS variant. We're going to cover its features, what I like, what I don't, and then I'm going to walk you through a full field strip so you can see how easy it is to maintain. Let's jump in. So let's open her up and see what we got. So right away on top, we've got a little manual. This being an MOS version, meaning that we can mount a red dot such as the Trijicon RMR or a Holosun 507, just for example. Then here we have the firearm itself. Again, first thing we're going to do when we open it is we're going to take this magazine out, ensure that there's no rounds. Then we're going to do a quick rack, make sure there's no rounds in our firearm. Yep, next thing we got is our actual firearm, the Glock 43X MOS. You may ask, what's the MOS part of it? So the MOS is going to be right here on the top, right? This is going to be where your red dot actually mounts in. This is your mounting plate right here. Now typically when you have your actual red dot, you're going to remove this mounting plate, and that's where your optic's going to sit. Again, depending on what sort of optic you get in, screws are what's going to be screwed into your optic. Now the Glock 43X additionally is considered a subcompact handgun. Now the Glock 43X makes it, the actual grip of it, just a little bit longer than our typical Glock 43, which is good for those of us who have larger hands like myself. You're still able to get a really good grip on the actual firearm. Our slide length is going to be about 6 inches, a little bit over 6 inches. Width, about an inch, so it's perfect for some slimmer folks to carry, if that's what you're going to be using. Now we'll set our firearm aside and see what else we have. So again, what's going to come with is our 2 magazines, then the loader that, quite frankly, I kind of suggest we do. Next is going to be just a standard lock, making sure we're keeping our gun safe. Now, you are going to want to go out and get just like a cheaper gun safe, just for, if this is your only gun, I recommend just getting a cheap gun safe, because this really won't suffice with this standard case. This case would more so be when you're taking it to nice cleaner, nice little addition. Again, I recommend going online, getting like an actual set. If you go on the Armory, wi.com, we'll have those for sale. Just because they'll make it a lot easier for when we're threaded on here to actually be able to get a good clean. Under the bottom, under all the foam, just important different safeguards. It's going to be like your user manual. Last thing we got in the box is going to be a little Allen wrench. This is going to be for your actual screw right here to install your optic. Now, moving into a little comparison just so you guys can see the difference. This is my personal Glock 43X that I carry. Now, this is just the Glock 43X, not the MOS version, so it allows you to see the difference versus our MOS and then our regular Glock 43X that's not cut for MOS, which is honestly quite something I don't recommend, because you never know if you're ever going to put an optic on. And something I don't really suggest, because truly you never know if you're going to end up putting an optic onto your handgun, and it really just limits you on the capabilities of your firearm if you not to get us cut. And just some basics that we have about our firearm here. It's going to be Glock's answer for those wanting a very slim concealable pistol with that ability to mount a red dot right out of the box. Chamber 9mm, which is a pretty standard self-defense round. You're going to have 10 rounds that you can have in your magazine, plus 1 inside of your chamber. It's going to be a slimline frame, that way it's better for concealment, again for concealed carry. And of course with the MOS cut, as I mentioned before, you can mount different optics like the Shield RMS or the Holosun 507K with all that custom for. One of the things I really like about the 43X is that Glock went with that slightly longer grip than the regular 43, which means my whole hand actually will fit without hanging on the bottom. Typically with the regular 43, your pinky would kind of just be like this and going off the side, so you would need to get your extended magazine. The front and rear slide serrations are great for press checks, simple press checks. The slim profile makes it disappear under a t-shirt. You can see how slim it is, just a little over an inch. Trigger pull is going to be your standard Glock. Again, before we do that, we're going to make sure we have nothing in. Nice trigger pull. Nice. And personally, if you're taking this to the range or whatever you're doing with it, the recoil on it is very, very manageable. Again, this is what I typically carry on my everyday. The extra grip length helps with the control, and even with that micro red dot, it's still very lightweight and quick to get on target. That being said, one of my gripes with it is if you do have the larger hands, you might feel like you're running out of real estate on the frame compared to a full-size Glock like a Glock 45 or a Glock 17. Again, also keep in mind if you want more than the 10 rounds that fit in the magazine, you're gonna have to look into aftermarket mags like Shield Arms, and you also need to upgrade your mag catch metal. Now, a good alternative might be the Glock 19, which again is a more of a compact handgun, but not quite your subcompact. So it's going to be a little bit longer than our 43, and it's going to be a little bit wider. So just a little bit harder to conceal, but it's going to offer you 5 more rounds with 15 in the magazine. And again, that bigger grip for us with larger hands. All right, let's get into the disassembly. Glock keeps it very simple, and the 43X is no different. It's going to be our standard way we take down every single Glock. First step, as always, we're going to make sure our firearm is unloaded and there's no ammunition near it. So simply we'll pull it back and we'll put our slide lever forward. It's very simple. We'll pull our slide back and put our slide lock level up. Ensure that there's no magazine. We can see right through. You can see my finger right there. And we'll look in our chamber and I see nothing in our barrel. So again, with it being a slimmer design, our slide release here is just going to be a little harder to get with our one hand. You really got to press into it for the slide to go home. So now that our firearm is empty, unloaded, and safe to handle, we're going to point our firearm in a safe direction, pull the trigger. Now that our trigger is pulled, we're going to pull backwards on the slide just slightly, about 1/4 of an inch. It's going to look something like this. We're going to grip it under, so we're going to put our thumb approximately right there, grip over, and pull back that much. Doesn't need to go back at all. Just a little bit, 1/4 of an inch right there. While we're doing that, we're going to put one finger on this lever right here, down, while doing it on the other side. Like this, one here, pulling down as we're slide back. So again, 1/4 of an inch, this, how it moves. We'll pull both of them down on this side, slide, come right off. Just like that. Might take a few practice reps to get that down. Now that we have our next step down, we're going to remove our recoil spring right here. It's the same on most common handguns. Take our recoil spring out there. The thing I like about Glock is they make the front and back of it very easy to recognize. You're going to have your very flat metal tip here, and then your more dark coated metal here. And we're going to keep it simple with taking our barrel out. And there you go, your Glock 43 is now field stripped. The other thing I do like is Glock does pre-lube all of their firearms, so if you want to, as soon as you get this, you can take to the range and shoot it. Now what I do recommend though is wiping it down and putting your own CLP, which is our clean lubricant and protectant for our firearms, nice, fresh, and ready to go at all times. All right, and to reassemble, it's just going to be the exact same process. So let's just run through it backward. We're going to take our slide, leave it just like how we did. Now, with our barrel, we're going to remember this flush side right here is what's going to go towards the bottom of our. All right, and for the barrel, we're going to keep it simple. The flush side is go into our opening. This little bulge sticking out. Slide it in. Just like that. That's just nice. Now taking our lever, we're going to remember which way. So the black end is going to be facing towards the end of the barrel. And our silver end is going to see this little lever right. So there's 2 ledges. First ledge, you're not going to want one on that second ledge right where it's more of a semi. We're going to push it in. See how on that first ledge, simply we're just push it in. Make sure it's on that second ledge and not move. Again, mind to make sure. So our last step to put the slide back onto our lower receiver, we're going to follow grooves right here. Cutouts right here, right here, right. On the lower, we're going to have this metal piece metal piece, that's where the grooves are going to go. Then when we get towards the back, they're going to follow to fit. Take it. Going to make sure it follows through nice and flush, and crack the firearm. There you go. Glock 43X is now ready to go. So here's my verdict. The Glock 43X MOS is an excellent choice for concealed carry if you want slimness, reliability, and the option to run an optic. The pros is going to have great concealment with it being a subcompact platform, solid capacity for the size with holding 10 rounds, and it's optic ready. The cons, the capacity is still a little bit limited with the 10 rounds. That's primarily user preference, how many rounds you're comfortable carrying with, depending with the size and everything. And it's not as soft shooting as a larger gun. If you went to that bigger platform like a Glock 45, that full size firearm, you're gonna have a much easier time with it. Other things you consider is upgrading your firearm. You can also change the slide for that ported barrel right here that lets the gas escape more, and you get less recoil that way. But overall, it's definitely earned a place in the conversation for the top CCW pistols on the market. And if you enjoyed this review and breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more firearm content. Let me know in the comments, do you run a Glock 43X? And if so, what's your setup? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.